You're listening to Off the Hosel podcast presented by Rolo Golf. My name is Drew Koser. We hope you enjoy the show.
You're listening to Off the Hosel, episode 144, brought to you by Rolo Golf. Now, here's your host, Tori, Drew, and Troy Toy. Oh, and it's starring me, Shawn McNall.
There it is, episode 144. Pleased to have on today Shawn McNall, all-time leader. Games played by a goaltender in the Adult Safe Hockey League of Regina, Saskatchewan. He's been to provincials in Saskatoon a few times. He's a great golfer. You used to be able to throw him back with the best of them. Unbelievable gambler on the golf course. This guy. We had him on episode 5 the last time, folks. We did it on a phone, on Anchor. And it was sizzling all right. Shawn and I were on a podcast, 1v1. It was a battle, but got lots of views. Pleased to have back on today, Naller. What's going on, man? How are you?
Oh, I'm good. Thanks for having me, guys. I'm super pumped to be here. Stayed at work late just so you didn't have to see what my dungy basement looks like.
Fuck, it looks like you're getting ready for Halloween. It looks like Johnny Depp from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas and Jeffrey Dahmer had a kid.
Thank you. Good thing I got my hair cut or you would have been really creeped out.
It looks like there's not a whole lot to cut anymore.
No.
Though.
I've talked to my hair and I said, the war's not over. Stop receding. Not listening.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? I'm 43 now, so I'm over giving a shit about my hair and my looks. I'm married, kids, blah blah blah.
So speaking of
I'm
that,
giving up.
newly married.
One
at a time, guys. One at a time, please.
Hey, 2 new boys, married. Let's talk about that, because I know there's some people that have texted me in the past and over this last 6 months said, hey, how is Naller's golf game going to handle having 2 little rugrats buzzing around, being a dad now? How's it going?
You know what? Actually, my wife's been incredibly good. The first year with our youngest, who's 17 months, when we had him, I think I played 80 rounds that year. And then last year she was pregnant and we had the kid still. And I think I played 70 rounds. So our thing has always been, because I don't have a lot of hobbies, that I get to play my golf. Obviously, I've dialed it back a little bit. Doesn't sound like it because 70 rounds for a lot of guys is like
more than me.
More than you for sure.
3
That's
years,
the last decade for me.
3 years equivalent. Yep.
Yeah. So I would usually be playing like around 90 rounds. So let's just say I've cut back like 20%. And then my hockey, I'd play like 100 games a year, because if you don't know, I play net. And so you always get calls, and I don't go to the gym and I enjoy being there. It's something to do in the winters. So I usually play on a couple teams. I've dialed that back to one team. Probably only play. Last year I played 60 games. This year I'll probably dial it back to like 40 games. I'm putting in 100% at home so that when the summer comes, I can somewhat disappear. But I understand the world is a little different now, where you can't just leave your wife at home and say, good luck, I'll be at the course. It's busy. It's definitely life-changing. I'm not into babies, but my child now.
You might want to edit that one out.
Well, I don't know. I'm being honest. Like, I've maybe looked at my youngest like about 10 times. He's 3 weeks old, but the other kid I'm with like all the time. And you know what? Like, I love him. It's so much fun now watching him learn and grow. So I feel like there's a purpose, and it's right and it's fitting. Before I was like, man, I don't think I'm supposed to be a dad. It's even weird saying that I'm a dad now, and it's been as long as it has. But anyways, I'm enjoying it, and there won't be any more. I have a surgery booked for early January. I'm 43, and I don't want to be taking my kid to sports and being like, hey, is your grandpa coming to all your events?
Hey, Shawn,
Yeah.
Drew, our old man was 40 when Drew was born, right? It's not that bad. You don't get called grandpa. That or he was the mailman's kid, one of the two.
Yeah. Well, honestly, growing up, there was a kid on our hockey team who had parents who would have had him when they were 40 and were like, Jesus, like, how old are your parents? And now I'm going to be that guy, but it's the world's changed. It's a little more normal now. But honestly, I don't know. That's my path. I don't really care. It's taken me a while to mature. If I had kids any younger, I don't know. They'd have a lot of mental problems.
They still will.
They still will. I couldn't agree more.
You know what I love though sometimes though, and I wake up and you have your stories on Instagram and is it Bo? The one always
Boner.
Yeah.
No, it's Bodie. But we call him Bo.
When he's buzzing around the house, and then there's been a few videos of you like talking in the background and the dog absolutely like runs him over. But he's like jacked though. Like he doesn't like fall down. He's like stays up pretty good lower half.
He only falls when he's standing on his own. He falls a lot.
I was impressed the other day though how like he opened the door for the dog. That was impressive. So
yeah.
I did see that. That was nice.
Yeah, the dog can close the door on his own. He can come in. Yeah. That's
yeah.
Oh, the kid. Yeah, the kid's getting good at that too.
Shawnee, we should meet. You should reschedule your appointment for like the week of the Masters. I'll meet you halfway in like somewhere in Wisconsin. We can hold hands with each other. I think I've said this before on the podcast to somebody.
I honestly,
week.
That was my goal, was to do it for Masters week or weekend. But honestly, I'm so scared. Like, I'm scared shitless of having another kid. I can't get in there soon enough.
Well, I thought you were married, so you like that might be the next time I get a go.
Oh, well, I mean, it's your call.
Okay. Now we know that Shawn's
that's just two Coaster brothers looking at each other going, what the hell's going on? But okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a little confused there. So next. Okay, so you're married, you have two young boys, a dog.
Two boys, yeah. Bodie and Briggs, a dog named Floyd, cat named Penny, and another cat named Jackie. And the cats are not mine. They came with a marriage. So
okay, let's go right into some.
If you want to come over, basically have a zoo at my house. Okay, sorry, Drew.
Let's go into some golf stories I want to hear, and so does everyone else want to hear some golf stories from the obviously Canadian Nationals, Men's Am, Mid Am, whichever ones you want to go with. Maybe some of your best stories, some of your best moments and times. Obviously off the course, obviously preferable, but obviously on the course as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, we kind of like talked about those last time we chatted, and it was 4 years ago. So I was like, man, I wonder what the hell we talked about other than how low budget was done at the time. I was like, there was no video, so I was just laying in my bed talking on the phone, and so we couldn't do that this time. Pardon me?
Legs up just on the bed.
Oh yeah, I was just rolling around, pacing, and like I can't do that this time. I'm stuck here. But yeah, I remember looking back, and it was funny because I listened to that again, and it was talking about like I remember I wasn't playing as good as I had from like 2015 to 2018 ish. I was working on a grip change, and like I'm still kind of working on like the golf swing is always evolving. You never get to a point where like, that's it. I'm locked in. That'll be my swing. Like something will go wrong. So you're always tweaking. So it's funny to hear what I was working at then, and then should have maybe kept a journal, but then who's reading it? Nobody. So anyways, the last time we talked, I was going to tell a story about when I went to nationals in Montreal, or is just outside of Montreal. It's called Chateau Bromont. So it was like kind of like a ski resort and a golf course there. Anyway, so it was 2016 and I made the provincial team, and I don't even know what they call it now for the mid. And also I placed second. And so also on the team was Ty Wright and Dave Stewart. And like, could there be any two better golfers at the time? And I'm like, I'm on the team with these guys. This could be the year, because I'm playing some of my better golf, that Saskatchewan competes in the team event. Usually
Right.
it's Ontario. Yeah, they got so many golfers to pull from. And so I'm like, oh man, this is going to be amazing. So anyways, we go to Montreal and I end up being a little bit sick. This was 2016. And I remember when we got there, Tragically Hip was doing their last ever live performance. And so it's Montreal, the nightlife's unreal, right? And all the guys are going out. And I'm like, I'm like sick. Like, I'm just staying here. And they're like, okay, well, we'll see you later. And my brother's also at Nationals and we're rooming together and he goes out. Well, like he doesn't party or nothing. So he comes home early. Anyways, I'll carry on with this story. We end up going to you got to go take a shuttle from Montreal to the Chateau Bromont. It's like an hour away. So we stay the night in Montreal, then we go to the tournament, we play our practice round. And it's only my second national, so I don't really know what to expect again for courses. I was told the year before in Nova Scotia, the courses it wasn't that great of a course. And again, I didn't care. I'm at nationals. I'm just taking everything in. So again, we go and the course isn't like, I didn't like it. It was kind of, I don't know. I just didn't really like the course that much. So anyways, we get there and then we play our practice round. Then the next day, the tourney's starting and I'm like, I'm going to get there early. And so anyways, I'm trying to get to the course and I put my contact in and I like can't see out of my one eye. Like I can't get my contact in. And I'm like, what is going on? And then like I tried to drive to the course and I like drove there with one eye and I saw the guys there. I'm like guys, I can't even see out of my one eye. Like, what is going on? And they're like, well, I don't know. Like, you better get it figured out. I'm like, yeah, like I know. So anyways, I drive back to our hotel and I'm like, holy shit. So I take my contact out. My eye is still killing me. So I sat in bed with like covers on my eye for like 45 minutes. And finally, like the pain went away. My contact could go in. I'm like, okay, here we go. So I head to the course, super fired up. We get there, warm up and everything. I wrote some of this down because I forgot some of it. And the story just gets worse and worse. But anyways, I'm sitting around, I warm up, and then I'm ready to go to the tee. And I look in my bag and I'm like, man, it doesn't look right. Something's missing. And I'm like looking, I'm like, where's my 60? Like, or I had a 58 degree. I don't know which it was. I'm like, what is going on? I'm like, where is it? So like, I'm just panicking. I run, I'm doing laps around the putting green. I'm at the range. I'm just like, so I go to the officials. I'm like, I'm missing a wedge. And I'm like, if you find it, can I put in my club during the round? They're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, my wedge is missing. So if you can just let everyone know. So I would like go to the pro shop and they don't have much stock in there. So they don't even have a lob wedge. So I can't even buy a wedge off the rack. And so I'm like, okay, I guess I'm starting my round without a wedge and a lob wedge. Second hole, I'm in the trap. I don't have a sand wedge. I go usually 52, 58, 52, 60. I don't have something in the middle. And so I'm having to try and hit these shots with like basically a gap wedge. So then and I did go check the car and I'm like, is it in here? No. So anyways, all the officials, I've told them I need this wedge. So we get to the ninth hole. I think I've had to hit on the bunker twice now. And there's this this official driving up. He's waving this club around like, yes. Comes up. It's a left-handed 56. I'm like, it's a right-handed 60. Like, that's not it. And so anyways, I got to keep playing. I'm like, oh my God, like how brutal is this? So I finished my 18. I think I 3-putted the last hole, super pissed off. That was one of the last rounds. So the boys, we all meet up, we go out for pizza, and your scoring's all online. And so we're looking up all our scores, and we're out for pizza, and I look at my score. I'm like, 74. I'm like, I shot 75. And they're like, you sure? I'm like, oh yeah, 100%. I'm like, could even eat my food. I'm like, I got to go talk to the officials. So I go back down to the scoring area. I drive back to the course by myself and left everyone out for pizza. I'm like, this will drive me nuts. So I got to figure it out. I tell the officials what's going on. They find my card. And I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, I signed it wrong. It's not right. The guy keeping my score made like 5 mistakes. I caught 2, he caught 2, and we missed one. So now I'm like, they're like, you know what happens? I'm like, yeah, I'm DQ'd. They're like, yeah, you're DQ'd. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, how embarrassing is this? So it ended up I was able to play day 2 because I was still on the team. So as a member of the team, I got to play the next round to count my score towards the team score. But after that, I couldn't make the cut and carry on. And I had to play with the guy again that kept my score. And I was like, when we got to the team, I'm like, man, like, honestly, was your caddy keeping score? Like, what was going on? He's like, I'm just really sorry, man. Like, and I was like, holy shit. Anyways, go back to the car, and my club had caught on the edge of the seat when I pulled my bag out and slid down between the door and the side. And that's where my wedge was. So it was so this whole trip. And then my brother misses the cut on day 2, and he's super competitive and pissed off. He's like, we're changing the flights and we're getting the hell out of here. So that afternoon, that Tuesday, we were in a cab back to Montreal on our flights heading home 3 days early. Like it couldn't have gone worse. And it's just made me realize, like, you know, when you're signing your card, like, focus on what you're doing. Yeah. Just because somebody's keeping score doesn't mean they're getting it right. So yeah, that was like an awful experience at Nationals. But obviously the next year was a lot more fun because I didn't have a DQ on my resume. But I mean, it happens. It's just super, super shitty.
Yeah. So, Shawn, this is going to sound like kind of a stupid question, but on the podcast,
you know what I say? There no such
stupid
thing.
Questions. But all 3 of you that I'm joined with right now.
Oh, wait, just stupid people.
That's correct. But all 3 of you that they're on the podcast, you guys have all played competitive golf, right? Correct? Yes.
Yeah,
I know the answer that our listeners know. I haven't. What do you mean somebody else is keeping track of your score? Why aren't you keeping track of your own score?
So you are, but
if I kept track of my own score, I'd shoot 62 every round.
Yeah, that's probably a good reason you're not allowed to. So what happens in any tourney event, somebody else is keeping your score. So you switch cards. Then at the bottom of the card, you're keeping your own score. So they're usually perforated at the bottom. So, yeah. So you peel it off and then you line up the cards and kind of
check it off.
But if you've never been DQ'd, you're kind of like go through the motions. You're like, oh yeah, this guy's got it right. And now, like, I literally like, okay, check mark. But I was like,
that's what I do.
Yeah, we got an error. We send it back. Me and him figure it out. He's got to do little initials. So you're auditing somebody in your group.
So are you liable on keeping track of their strokes every hole?
So
you're actually watching.
You are.
One, that's 2. That's 3,
so if let's say I shot 74, but I signed for 75, that would be fine. Like, I signed for a higher score, but anytime you sign for a lower, you're basically just screwing yourself out of a stroke. But as soon as you sign for a lower one, it's like somebody cheating. But in tournaments, it's usually not on purpose, and it's like a scorecard error. It happens more often than you think. And I've actually even done it, I think, at the Scotia Wealth one year. But it was on hole 12, which is not a hard not number 14, but I think I was like taking 11 or 12. By that point, you're like, don't even care. And I had to come back in and talk to Coben. And he's like, no, man, you had I thought I had a 10, but he's like, you had an 11 because he's walking me through everything. And I went to tell Prosky, I'm like, man, I had an 11, not a 10. He's like, whatever, we'll just fix it.
Right.
At that point, you're so far out of the tournament, they're not going to tell you see you later. On a Golf Canada event, yeah, they're going to DQ. Golf Sask, you're getting DQ'd for sure, and you just know it's coming. But in other tournaments, yeah, if I was in the running, I'm probably also getting DQ'd. But since I took an 11 or whatever for an 82, they're just like, you know what? Thanks, we'll fix
you can
it.
Battle back with about 6 birdies and an eagle after that.
You can, but I didn't have that in me. I was pretty angry. The funny thing is, I hit it so far right off the tee that I was just short of the tee box on hole 11. And I tried to hit this high roping hook back into 12 fairway, through this, 11, right? I ballooned it. So
Whoa. Let's tap the brakes here. You hit from 12 onto hole 11.
Yeah, it went down in front of the tee box, and you know how tight that tee box is. So I was trying
what the fuck happened?
I just big balloon, and somehow I go over. I'm looking. Somebody's like, "Yeah, it's over here." I'm like, "You're kidding." So when I went there, I saw it's a tiny window, and when you're trying to get it up and hook it, one you're gonna smother it or it's not gonna hook. And so I tried to hit this window twice, and I'm like, okay, I'm going back. So I went back, and then I had to hit a wedge over the trees because they're so tall just to get them back into play on 12 and then finish out my hole. So I was like 1, 2 in the bush, 4 into the bush, 6 into the bush. I think I was chipping out 7 and however it finished, but yeah, it was just not a good drive. And then instead of just going back to the tee and taking my lumps, I wasn't in the tourney anyways. I think I was probably 75 day one, but yeah, if you're not using your head and you just think you're going to hit these a high hook through a window, that's not an easy shot, and especially in a tournament. So I was convinced I could hit it, but I'd like to go out there with a bucket of balls one day and just and try and hit it. But anyways, am I talking too much?
Wow, episode 144 brought to you by Roller Golf. Naller, that was awesome today. Appreciate it.
Oh, we're done?
No, that was the longest story ever. I love it though. Hey, just to add on that story.
That was a long story. I hope it's not boring.
I remember watching
shitty.
on Golf Genius, watching that on my phone. I'm like, DQ'd. Oh, what did Shawn do? That's my first reaction was oh no, he's gonna be pissed. And now I hear it, and I don't know if you told me the full story until today, but
I remember after I went into my room and I was rooming with Ty Wright, and he was on the cut line, so he was in another room, but then a bunch of guys came into our room. And when I don't play well, I want to be left alone. Yeah. Oh, was I angry just sitting there oh my God, what a joke. And then I'm kind of hoping Rye misses the cut so we can go home.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have one for you here, Naller, and this is I got a text today. You probably tell me who it is after, but we got to hear the story though. Sask Amateur in 2003, I think is the year, is what I'm told. Driving him and a buddy of ours to Nipawin, town fair. He was pretty hammered that night. We were staying at the hotel in Nipawin right across the golf course. He teed off the next day at 7:07 off the 10th hole. He got a wake-up call for 7 in the morning. It was before cell phones and alarms on your phone. He got up, went straight to the 10th tee, hit one out of bounds, and then he threw up before he hit a second tee shot. The starter said to Shawn, if you're sick, you don't have to play. And Shawn said, quote unquote, Dad will kill me if I don't play.
So that's pretty accurate.
Okay.
there's a reason I quit drinking. Like, I just can't drink enough. So when I wake up in the morning, if I've been drinking, like, I am still piled. So we went to like some town fair. We almost got in this fight in like downtown Nipawin. All I remember is I think my tea time was 7:55. I woke up at 7:50 and yeah, like it was literally straight to the tea. And I'm like, you know, when you're like beer goggles in the morning, like the hangover, like that's me. And I'm just like, oh my God, where do I go? And the first hole or 10 is like the hardest hole around. I'm just shaking like a leaf. And like literally the starter was like, Shawn, you do not have to play today. And like I would have just reeked in my eye. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, listen, if I don't play and my dad finds out, he will absolutely kill me. I'm like, I am playing. I did not hit it out of bounds. I hit it in play. I finished my round. I did not puke. But I did get it the round, and I have no idea what I shot.
And
so,
do you know who sent the message?
Ryan Whittle, Jeff Stasis.
No, you're close to the first name though.
Oh, my brother.
Yeah.
Really?
He goes, it was pretty funny, and he may tell it differently, but that's how I remember it.
Yeah, well, again, I don't know. I would say the way I told is fairly accurate, but you know, like Nipawin Hotel is right there.
Can't
So
fucking
I just remember like walking onto the elevator with my pull cart and like hoping the elevator would go faster for me because I was so close to my tea time. Like, what was it? What was the other? I used to do this a lot. I'm definitely not proud of it. I was always taught if you're going to start something, you finish it. And in my drinking days, I would just like not show up for day twos because either I was out of it or I was just so hungover I couldn't even show up. One being like our club championship. We played the first round. I was tied for the lead and it just poured and poured and poured. And the course was closed for the Sunday for the second round. And I went out and got piled and I get this call. Hey, we're just going to have a 3-hole playoff. Just get down here. I'm like, I do not feel well. I'm like, no, I can't. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, oh, I got a flat tire. They're like, what? You're in the playoff for the club champ. I'm like, no, got a flat tire. They're like, well, we'll come get you. I'm like, no, I got to deal with this. I got to get it looked after. And like, I didn't have a flat tire. I just like literally couldn't get out of bed. So I was so hungover. I didn't want to win the club or have a chance. There's 3 of us.
Right.
And I can't remember who ended up winning that year. And then another one was the Royal Regina Club champ. I remember I woke up on a friend's couch and I was like, oh, I got to go. I got a tea time. And I'm late. I'm missing these calls. And I'm like, listen, I'm on my way. Relax. I'll be there for my time. So I get there. I'm like 5 minutes late and Dean Brown's running the tee. And he goes, you're hitting 3 off the first tee. That's penalty for being late. I'm like, shut up. It's club champ. He's like, no, I'm serious. I'm like, okay. So I think I was playing with like Doug Mader and
boys.
And Jimmy Tazakis. And so I'm like, is this ridiculous? I took a 7 on the first hole. I can't even see my ball. Like I'm just like out of it. I get to the 5th hole and I'm like, guys, I just not into this. I'm leaving. So I gave him my card and went home after 5 holes. Like, who does like if that happens to me these days? Like I will give it to that guy for leaving. Like I will let him know what I think of him walking off the course like that. So not proud of it. It's something I've done. And again, like there's a reason I don't drink. Well, I drink very infrequently now. And actually another one was the Saskatoon Club. I remember getting to the tee. I think it's day 2 of the tourney. It was the original setup. And I remember getting to the first tee and that's when like the puke started to hit me. And I'm like, oh no. So I get up there and I can like barely swing. I get the ball off the tee and this little kid's caddying for someone in my group. And I'm walking and I start walking to the right side where the trees are. I'm just walking and puking down the first hole. And this kid like looks over and he's like, what is going on with this guy? He won't stop puking. So I puked all the first hole. Middle of the round somewhere, there was a par 3, and I went back in the bush, and the guy's trying to hit, and all you can hear is my puke hitting the ground while he's swinging. And I'm just like, those are just times that each one of those reminded me, like, maybe next year you shouldn't drink. And then by the time I was 35, it resonated a little.
Alrighty, Naller. Quick question here. Got a note from a guy mentioning your first City Am at the Murray. You were playing with a guy. You hit a miraculous second shot on 18. His first big win since he hung up the bottle. I was very happy for him. Great to see him overcome and succeed. Thoughts or any explanation on the big win?
Yeah, in a personal things that I've done, like City Am, I mean, you still get some good players. That'd be Ty Wright that wrote that. I don't know. It was great because Ty he was more supportive after it was all done than I ever expected, and it felt really good. I go in these tournaments, and like I said, for years and years, and I'm just kind of there. But it's usually, like I previous said, like, it's hard to be in a tournament when your goal is to go get drunk and then maybe I'll show up the next day,
right.
Or, like you're there for the party, not the golf. And that's when the first time I even had any kind of lead, I think I had a 2-shot lead on Ty after round 1 at the Royal. I think I was a couple under, go to the Murray. And like, for whatever reason, I wasn't nervous. I was just like, because I'd been playing some good golf. I just believed in myself. And first hole at the Murray, like, easy hole, Ty eagles, I par. Okay, now we're even. Then we go to hole 2, Ty birdies, I par. Now he's 1 up on me after 2 holes. And like, Ty knows how to win. He is a very good player. And for whatever reason, that day, I just never hit the panic button. And I kind of just stuck around all day and got back, and we kind of just back and forth. We weren't lighting it up. We were probably even or 1 or 2 over. And he, on 17, it's a drivable par 4. He drove it. And I remember I was just left of the green, so I had to come on first, and I chunked my chip. And I'm like, are you fucking dry humping me? Like, get your shit together. You need, like, so I get my shit together, and I chip one on fairly close. So
I love how you said fucking and then dry humping.
Yeah. Well, that, okay. Is that wrong?
That caught me.
That was brought to you by Durex. Carry on.
So then he has this long putt for eagle, and he hits a shitty putt. And I'm like, Jesus, like, I might even pick up a stroke here. But Ty, like, gets his shit together, and he drained probably like a 5 to 8 footer. And I had like a couple feet, knock it in. Now we're tied going to 18. And I think I had the tee. And usually when you're feeling pressure, your swing gets shorter. You tend to do, like I do anyways, I tend to hit these little snaps. So I get up there and I snap it left, and there's trees along the left with a creek. And I'm like, I might be in that creek. Ty hits it right down the middle. And I remember I had a buddy caddying for me. And we go into the trees, and like, you know how it goes straight uphill at the green there? And there's all those evergreens in front of the green. And he's like, so what are you going to do here? You think, like, chip out? And I look, I'm like, man, if I hit it down and under there and up and cut it, I think I could get it on. And he's like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, like, I actually think I could do this. I ended up hitting it to, like, I think a foot. Like, nobody knew where I was watching from the green. Ty hits a bad shot short of the green. He ends up making bogey. And then he kind of came up to me when I had my birdie putt, and he's like, knock that in, man. And so I did, and he was just super supportive. It was awesome. It was a great moment for me just to realize, especially with like the drinking. I understand I have a drinking problem. And it was just nice to know that not drinking, there's great things on the other side. You're not worrying about what you did the night before, all the shit that comes with it. There's life after drinking. That was really a small where I'm like, I think I should get back into this golf scene, like a little more than I was before. And I love it. Like I absolutely love golf. Like I remember one day I was sitting, I don't even know if I should tell it, sitting in the kitchen, like doing dishes. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I love golf. And I'm like, Sheen, like to my wife, I'm like, I just love golf. And then I'm like, oh man, she's like, she was probably thinking I'd say I love her.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, whoa. I'm like, I love you more. I do. I love you more. But
yeah, all this
but then I'm like, but it's close.
All this laundry and diapers tell me you love golf too.
Oh yeah.
So no, I have a question, Drew.
Troy,
I do.
Before we jump on, Sheena just loved the story of us on air now, so she's not mad at you. She loves you, and she loves you. You're doing a podcast right now at 7:00 evening time with his two boys at home. Troy, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask Shawn. So I mean, you're playing in that tournament, right?
City.
Yeah.
You guys are friends off the golf course, right?
Yeah. No, I played it against Ty most of my life.
So to our listeners, I mean, is there animosity between you two on the golf course? Like you said, you were up by 2. He drains the eagle, you par. He birdies, you par. Are you like,
can I answer this?
Man, really? Like, we're buddies. Can't you just let me win one for a chance? Like, is there that kind of mindset? Do you know what I mean? Like, are you guys not friends on the golf course, I guess?
Can I answer this one?
No.
And Ty, because these two fuckers, man, they're both so competitive. It's unbelievable. And I love playing in the groups with those guys because they are gamers. And it's life or death.
You know what? I think my opinion is, for me, it's not. It's just my goal is me and get the ball in the hole. If you screw up, I mean, that's on you. You don't want to be sitting there and like hoping shitty things for them. But you tell me one competitive person that doesn't sit there and think that they want their opponent to fail. Like you do. You have to. Like you want to win, right? And you need good breaks, and you need and that might be them not hitting a good shot. And those are your opportunities to step up and hit a better shot. And Ty's always been such a good player, and a lot of the good players I have a lot of respect for. So just to be able to beat a guy of that caliber was awesome. But and then I played against him in the years following too. And the next year, I think at provincials, when I was second to go to on the provincial team, Ty won it. And I played with Ty the last round, and I think I was like 4 back, but like he just had another gear, put the pedal to the metal. And I remember like chasing him, like, oh, I'm kind of in there. I'm only 2, maybe 4 back. Something could happen. And then I remember him chipping in on this one hole. I'm like, holy fuck. Like he's relentless. Like he just even though he has that cushion, he still wants to add to it. He doesn't want to get complacent and be like, you know what, I could just walk this thing home. He wants to keep competing, and that's what like good competitors do. And also what I love when I play with him is his old man's on the bag, Larry. And Larry is such a good guy, so kind. And
NHL alum.
Yeah, NHL alum. Just, he's fun to be around. And it's nice to see the two of them. They're talking. Ty's usually talking the most.
Yeah.
And Larry just listens. But it's just great to see the two of them out there hanging out and spending time together. Larry's been on the bag for Ty, not all the time, but he's quite a few tourneys, and it's just cool to see. So,
what's pretty cool to add to that before Tori jumps in is like, so Naller talks about that and like, winning and, playing against Ty and what it means and all that. When I won in high school golf, for example, it was on the wall. It was Ty right, Ty right, Ty right, Ty right, Brian right, Brian right. Finally got my name on that wall, was to be like with those two guys. Because Brian was a player too, from what I recall. But like,
Yeah, I played against him. He was. He
it's
just.
those,
I
it's
mean, you
two
get.
right to me. So it's pretty cool to be like on that wall with two guys, and one guy's in the Hall of Fame. But yeah, more or less, pretty cool.
But
Yeah.
Troy, it's kind of like well, I'll use an example, much like Ryan's brother was just saying. Had to slip that in.
Just so you know, Tori always calls me my brother's name, and that is probably one of the biggest insults ever.
That is the funniest thing ever. We'll tell that story in a bit. But like one of my best, well, probably Dave and Ty Frank are probably my two best golf buddies. But like, if we're playing in a tournament together, I want to whip their ass. I don't want them to play bad.
Yeah,
but I want to beat them by one, kind of thing. So
like,
but afterwards, we're gonna go for beers, wings, whatever. Fuck, like it's like the round never happened. But while you're in it, it's much like it's like hockey players.
Yeah,
you play against your brother in hockey, you might square off, but you're still pals after.
Okay, but here's my thing. So if I'm out with my buddies playing golf, right? Me and Scott are out having a round of golf with Dad or whatever, right? You guys are all competitive players, have been. I watched Scotty put one in the drink. He's pissed off, throwing his club or getting fuck bullshit. I hate this fucking game, blah, blah, blah. I'm not cheering for that, right? I'm not like, I'm kind of being like the consoler saying, hey, you know what? You could be at work. You could be with the wife and the kids right now. Just move on to the next shot. When you guys
that's a bad thing.
When you guys are playing the competitive golf in tournaments, for example, Tori, you put one in the drink and you're playing against Shawn or Drew. Are they doing the happy dance around the green going, yeah, okay. That's
no, in your head, you're just, they're digging their own grave they'll get off course and not be thinking straight. If they lose their shit, I'm not there to console them. I'll talk to them later and laugh at them about it and probably tell some buddies what they did. But like,
hey, me and Shawn are good match play partners, and we've sat behind the greens watching other teams just fold, and we're like, yeah, so no one can hear us. But that's why
I mean,
no, I guess like not to cut you guys off, but I'll tell you what, like this past summer, long story short, Dad picked up golf like crazy this year. I was so proud of him, and I know Drew was too. He played so many rounds this year. He absolutely loved it.
Good,
and he's the type of guy that if he duffed one, which, you know, at his age, he's gonna duff one, he'd get so mad. And it's just like, dude, you're retired. You're golfing. You're not with mom. You're not out doing some project. You're on a golf course.
But it's Dawn. I would want to be at home with Dawn. She's a sweetheart. Little shout out to your mom there.
But no, like past guest Cadmus, when me and him went back and forth those 2 years in the Mid-Am, we wanted to beat each other's ass. I told it straight to his face. I'm like, I'm not done yet. Like, I'm not giving up yet. The year he whooped me after I whipped him the previous year.
You know,
I wasn't
Corey,
done.
But it's funny.
At the end, I was so happy for him that he won.
But you know what I'll tell you though, Troy, if I'm out for a casual round, like with my buds and just hitting the ball and like, even if I'm playing with Drew though, and he has a meltdown, but we're just playing, together, I might just tell him like, man, relax. Like, what are you so upset about? We're out here for shits and giggles. So it depends on what you're out there trying to do. But and again, if you're playing with somebody who's just started or they're an 8, and this is why people are like, they'll say to you, you're too good to play with me. And I'm like, no, like, man, I'm here to hang out with people. You shoot a million and you can cheat. I don't care. Unless we have money on the line, then I care. But if we don't have money on the line, we're there for fun. Like, pick up your ball when you want. Kick your ball. I really don't care. I'm there to have fun. And then when they get mad about shots that most people can't even hit, I go, how many rounds a year do you play? 5. Okay. And what's your hand? 18. Okay. Put all that together, like your expectations are unrealistic. Like bring yourself down a little and maybe have little smaller goals than, to hit every shot perfect. It's just not happening.
See, and you said that so perfectly, Shawn, because this past year was the first time ever in my life. And I mean, I golf. I'm not like you guys where you golf 50 plus rounds a year, but I joined a men's night, right? And I got my handicap down to an 11, and I was so happy about that. Like an 11 for me, so happy. My buddy, he only started golfing 6-7 years ago, and he is neck and neck with me now. And his main goal is to beat me on a golf course. And I use that as fuel now. I'm like, it's not happening today, pal. It's not happening today.
Sorry.
And he damn near came close this year. He was down by 1. But, this past April, we were
Who is it? Give him a shout out.
Scotty D. He's a friend of the show. But, this past April, we were down in Palm Springs, and I met a golf coach online via Instagram, Dave Fink. I know no free ads, Drew. He was on episode.
Was it an app called Plenty of Golfers?
No, it was not. He's an actual golf coach out of Los Angeles, and he took us to.
I just got that.
Okay.
He took us to what the hell course was that? PGA West, right?
PGA West,
he took us. And he asked me on that day, he goes, "What's your goal?" And I said, "To shoot sub 90. Sub 90, that's all I wanted." I shot an 84. I parred the hardest hole in the course, and I birdied the second hardest hole in the course. You know what? That to me was my highlight. I could have shot 142, but the guys that want to beat you, the guys that are like, okay, you're behind.
Here, hold on. I'm going to add this right now.
Okay, but you're explaining the addiction to the game, and it's not competing at a super high level or at any level. You're basically competing with yourself, and you've seen what you can do in the past. You're always wanting to get out there and beat it. Then you got a buddy that's involved, and now you're starting to compete with each other, right? So there is a competitiveness to it, but there's also it's like hockey can't go out and like challenge yourself to a game. Like it just doesn't work.
Only when I played against you. That's it.
Because there's like no goalie was there, like empty netters all night. It's point night. But my point is like you're gonna show up and be like all year. You're an 11 cap. Your grind now is like, I got it. So every round you're done, I guarantee you're like, oh, I can't wait to enter this score and watch my handicap move around. And so it's not about these tournaments. And for a lot of golfers, it's just, I want to do better than I've done before. And then also proving to myself that I can improve at this sport.
That being said, how come you haven't called me up for a round of golf yet?
I have 2 kids. No, I tell you what, a lot of my golf, I got to pick my spots. I like to play in as many tourneys because I love competing. Like I love the people. I love the pressure. I don't know. It's just something I love. So I'm always trying to go in events as much as possible. And then if I don't seem to have as much time for casual rounds, and it's a little harder to explain to my wife why I'm going out today. But we are planning a round, if not indoor, right? Me, you, Drew, and who's going to be our 4th?
We got to get Papa Rick or Scotty D, one of the two.
Who was it, though? Didn't we have a foursome picked out?
I'm not sure. It was so long ago.
It's tough to explain to the wife you got to sneak an extra 60 rounds in, after the tournaments.
Honey, I can't be spending all this money and not competing. That's the other thing. Like it's a hobby that just costs money. Like you don't win. Amateurs can win cash now, but I mean, you're basically getting gift cards. And after you've been in enough events, you have enough shit that you don't need more. So really the only thing that you're getting out of it is like the juices flowing and like.
Well, that title you got in the background there, where is it? Show it up for everyone here.
Hey, I'm only showing this because it's super cool. But this one, the belt, like this is a heavy belt.
If you're listening right now,
give her an angle, Shawn. Give her an angle so everyone can see it.
If you're listening on, what's Troy's face on there now? If you're listening,
I know,
but not watching on YouTube, Shawn right now is holding up the Lowry member dressed belt. Is that correct?
Yeah, from the Wascana. It's
and who was your partner? And who did you beat?
We were ended up going in a playoff. That was one. They have free booze at that, so it's 2 days free booze during the round. So I think I made it 3 holes without having a drink, and then because I birdied the first 2, and my brother gets super excited when I make birdies. Like Rye's kind of. But if you make a birdie on his team or you're winning, like he smiles a lot.
And it's a hard high five too.
Yeah. So I made first 3 holes. I birdied the first 2, and then I looked down at our beer they give us. I'm like, what should we do with these? I'm like, I'll just have a couple. And then I don't remember really the end of the round much. And then we went to a playoff, and Rye just finished it on his own. But it's super fun event. It is competitive because some better teams go in it. But when I walked in there and they showed that they had belts, I was like, oh man, like I want to win. Like those are so cool.
I remember the time I saw Ryan smile.
Hold on here, Tori.
Was he about to light up a smoke?
I think I've seen him smile once, which is kind of on par with me.
Yeah, that's
hold
right.
Up, Shawn, hold up. Troy and Tori. Speaking of all this booze, here's a quick word from our sponsors.
Lost Mountain started back in 2010 by Colin and Meredith Schmidt, a 2-car garage. We've grown now. It's been 10 years. Went to a 64,000 square foot building. Went from a vodka and a whiskey to over 20 different products now. So definitely grown a lot over the last 10 years. We have about 12 employees working for us now here at the distillery, which are all local people from around the Lumsden area. So local people supporting local people. We try to do everything local as we can. So from our grain down the road in Earl Grey, Deer Valley, to our dill and our cucumbers and our dill pickleball from across the street. Again, trying to play into that Saskatchewan, supporting Saskatchewan.
We're back. Absolutely, Last Mountain Distillery. Check them out today. Unbelievable booze, vodka, rye, rum, distilled in Saskatchewan, in Lumsden. Check them out. Also sold in like every liquor store ever in Saskatchewan. So check them out today. Boys, where are we at here?
Let's go. Maybe we might have a couple questions from the gallery.
Not yet.
Yeah, I think I've talked too much. Some of my stories might suck.
I have a couple of stories here I want to ask about. One is gambling stories. Most you've won, most you've lost. Quickly, if you want to answer those, Shawn.
Well, it's probably not quickly this one. Like on the golf course, it's actually surprising for the amount I like to gamble, and I almost don't like to play without something on the line.
Right.
And the reason for that, I just feel like it gives you more grind, even if it's okay. Yep. $10 isn't fun either, but like something to make you feel the juices flowing. So I don't know, like it's not a lot. I mean, maybe I've lost ones I remember for sure, like $400 or $500. And maybe $100, $200, $300. But one time when I had originally quit drinking because I have an addictive personality, I went to my brother's house and he was having a party. And so we started where I wasn't drinking. I'm like, I don't know, what am I going to do here for fun? So they got washers set up. So I go and I start playing washers with this guy who has washers at his cabin. So anyways, we're playing, we're playing for $10. Then the game's 25. I have not.
Shawn, I got to cut you off.
Yeah.
For a non-professional golf player, what the hell are washers?
So like a washer that you would, like a washer.
Like, are you talking like
screw?
Not
yeah, like they're big
like
washers.
a piece of hardware.
Yeah.
Okay.
The little hole in the
I
middle.
know what a washer is, but I was trying.
No, but it's the shape. It's the shape of the washer too, because there's all kinds, right?
Okay.
These are like bigger discs with the little hole in the middle.
Yeah. Okay.
You throw them at a board that's on a slant with a backer and a little hole in it.
Gotcha.
So sit there and you just chuck washers. So
it's like a carny game.
It is. It is like a carny game. So I played this guy probably 10 times. I've won nothing. He's beat me every time, but I'm so frustrated. I'm like, I'm due. I think I owed him $500. And I'm like, double or nothing. I owe him $1,000. Double or nothing. I owe him $2,000. I'm like, okay, one more time. I'm like, I'm sober. And he's probably getting more and more wasted. And I go, okay, one more. And I lose. I'm down $4,000 in washers in my brother's backyard. And I'm like, oh my God, like he's not going to let me keep going. I'm like, let's make a deal. And he goes, okay, well, what's the deal? I'm like, I'll pay you right now. I'm paying $2,000 and we're done. And he goes, done. So I'm like, I pay him, I wire him this money. It's like 30 minutes later and I'm in my brother's house and he's walking around with his phone waiting for this money. He looks at me, he's like, I'm still not got nothing here. I'm like, and I'm so mad. I'm like, would you chill the fuck out? Like, it's coming. Like, I sent it. So, anyways, I pay him out and we end up going golfing together the next day or 2 days later. He shows up and it's not nice out. He's got a brand new $200 rain suit on. He bought a new putter. He's got all this new gear. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I just had some extra money lying around. I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, okay, so we'll play for some money today. And he's like, nah, man, I'm not feeling it. I'm like, are you kidding me? You just peeled me like in not even golf or anything, like in washers. So anyhow, he wouldn't play me in a game, or we got a little game going. I won like $60 off him. So that was like, and I do have some other stories like gambling at the casino, but I've got an addictive personality. As
I know
I've
that
gotten
one
older,
for sure.
Huh?
I know that one, the casino for sure.
There's a couple, but anyhow, as I've gotten older, I appreciate my money a lot more. It's not like I have this money to gamble either. It's almost like the the rush of like losing all your money is exciting for some reason. Not anymore, because now I have a wife and kids to answer to, and I want to provide them. So I'm not out there like gambling like a moron anymore, nor do I go out and like get super smashed up. If I do have some drinks, I'm usually like I'm home by like 8 or whatever. But anyways, yeah.
You know, this coming spring, summer, what you can bet on, right? Or throw bets out. 72 pack of Pampers.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, you could
diapers.
press diapers.
Be like
little pressing you like
little,
6
little
diapers here.
Formula.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
one time, Shawn, I'll leave it at this, but he goes, Drew, let's go for lunch. I'm like, okay, sweet. He takes me to the brew house for lunch and we have dinner. And he's like, he bought the meal and he's like, okay, now we gotta go to the casino. I'm like, what? he lured me to the brew house for a free meal. And then
No.
Yeah.
Remember the one time I just got super wasted at the casino by myself and I made you come pick me up and watch me play?
Yes. Yeah. But the other time was
I was like, Drew, I can't drive and I'm gambling. You got to come get me. And then you showed up. I'm like, Drew, what are you doing here? Even though I invited you.
He literally brought me from the brew house to the casino. I'm like, oh, I should have known. Yeah, but no, it's all good. It's funny stuff.
Yeah, that's a bad place. Let me tell you, gambling in the end, you just do not come out on top. I've learned that, but there are lots of things like I'm not proud of, but
lessons for the young kids are gambling and alcohol do not mix.
Don't do drugs, don't gamble, don't drink like a moron. Yeah. Okay. Some of the things I'm going to try and pass on to my children, but knowing children, they won't listen.
All right, well, let's go to our rapid fire questions brought to you by the Tower Tap House, 1124 in Estevan, Saskatchewan. Got great food, great service, great people, great environment. Come on down, check it out. Pete and the boys at 1124 Tower Cafe and Tap House, Estevan, Saskatchewan. Here we go. Rapid fire questions. Tori, Troy, myself will rip off some questions here. I know Troy has some from the Instagram page. Tori has some from his awful smart mind, and I have some of my own.
Well, Donnie Urin wants to know, how did your first match go last year against TW and DU?
Oh, they pounded us. They pounded us. Like me and my 2-man partner at the Royal, we're aware we're too low caps and it's a handicap event. Like, even though actually Donnie had to give up a lot of strokes, his handicap was at like the end of this year, he was like a plus 3.9, which is crazy.
He was playing though. He was playing well.
Oh, for sure. And the shitty thing is, and I say this to everyone, when my handicap's higher, I got money in my wallet. When it's lower, I can't play to it and I have nothing in it. And so that's super hard to play to. They ended up beating us. And then we were eliminated. But then later on in the year, Chris Frolick's partner was busy, so he needed me to play. And who does he end up playing? It is Donnie and Tarrington. And so then we ended up beating them. So that kind of felt good to get that back. And that's a one where, yeah, I want to beat them, but I like those guys. So I enjoy playing with them, whether it's just like, and it's a club event, so you're a little looser and joking around, but you still want to win. But they were, yeah, I mean, afterwards you sit and you talk shit, you talk business and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, we definitely lost to Donnie and Terry.
Corey, you want to go ahead or want me to go?
I can read Ziggy's. What? Something about.
Okay. I talked about, okay, go ahead.
No, it was up was it Ziggy that sent it? The first experience at the teams?
So 4 years ago, Shawn told this story.
I did.
He'll tell it tonight, and he'll tell it 4 years from now again.
So, yeah.
Keep it under 9 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Anyhow, so Ziggy and Greg Swenson. So me and Ken Wilhelm go to the SAS 2-man. We don't really know each other. But I know Ken's a good golfer, so I'm like, let's go in this 2-man thing. I've never been. It's the Riverside, it'll be unreal. We go there, and we qualify. First match, we're in the champ flight. We're playing this Greg Swenson, Ashley Zigeman. Neither of them are big guys. They don't pound the ball out there. And I'm like, man, we will absolutely dust these guys. And so we get there, and about 5 holes in, we're like, holy shit, like these guys are pouring them in, like they're making birdies everywhere. Me and Ken thought we had to make maybe like 5-6 birdies combined during the round. Those guys, I'm sure they made over 10. We were down, we lost, I think it was like 7-5, and we looked at each other like, holy shit, man, like who are these guys? They ended up going on to win it. And then Ken and I actually came back the next 3 years. We won it twice and lost in the final the third year. So we just need to get in our groove, but never there was Ziggy and Swenson. They never came back for us. They were scared, I think, after they saw what we could do.
I like it.
Drew, there's another 2-time winner on the cast.
Wait, H.R. Mir now?
Yeah, and Ziggy, also Ziggy. Oh, yeah. You should maybe ask Ziggy what happened in Waskesiu when we played in the Lobstick. I think I knocked him out in the quarter or semifinal. And then all I could see was a weed smoke on the like chain smoking all the way back to the car. And he had a caddy named Tuna. They were all just like crushing beers at 9 in the morning, smoking weed. I actually had a blast with those guys. I love people that come and hang out and they just like to drink beer and have fun. Like, I might not drink that much, but I love watching other people drink and then shaking their hand at the end and smelling the booze on their breath. Just great memories. Makes me feel good.
Okay, so I have a question. This isn't even a question from the gallery. Shawn, I want to piggyback that. In these tournaments you guys are playing, alcohol is allowed? And
if they're not a provincial event or nationals. Now, like late in my drinking career, I started drinking earlier and earlier in the morning. So I listened to those rules, but as I needed the drinks to like function and not feel like I was a weekend warrior, not like full time going to work drunk. But I remember going to the pub links, which was a order of merit tourney, so you weren't allowed to drink. I remember like getting to the second hole, and I like pulled out my 7-Up bottle. I'm like, boys, everybody here, this is booze. Is anybody telling on me? And they're like, well, we'll have to see what you shoot. And I was like, whatever. I'm like, I could tell they weren't going to tell on me, so I kept crushing booze.
Hey, Jerster, isn't that the tournament that I was not really welcome to play in this past year?
Crow wasn't allowed to play in it.
Why? Oh, because you didn't have an official cap?
No, and my handicap was too high. Yeah.
Was too high. I wasn't allowed to play in it.
Yeah, that used to be a really good tourney. It just with COVID and being out of the loop for 3 years, and all the other tourneys out there now, it might have some trouble getting back up on its feet. But
yeah,
I mean, that would have been a great example or a great tourney for you to go in and get a taste of it. And just,
Shawn, the only reason I wanted to do it was because it's just about a year ago we got some bad news, right? And that's why I was like, I want to play this tournament. So I went and bought a golf net and started watching Tiger Woods' old coach from 1992 and blah, 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 whacking golf balls into my roof and everything. And I go to play it. They're like, yeah, no, you're not.
So
here's your entry feedback. Thanks for.
Anyways, we could talk about that for sure. I think if there's a tourney you want to go on, you should let us know, like anybody here, and we should be able to go talk to somebody and be able to get you in. Like, especially that one where the attendance was down. Right. They should be encouraging people like that to come out. So,
well, maybe this coming summer I'll be member guest. I can be your guest, eh?
I can't. My brother would freak out. He might even beat me up.
Well, that was like the most nicest answer of saying no. You suck.
Well, if it was a buddy, then I'd be like. But when it's your brother, and I think Drew plays at the Royal, doesn't he?
He won't even ask me either.
Well,
but anyways,
this year I'll have a leave of absence, I'm sure.
Mac Turlock.
From
Twitter wants to know. He's
from TG Marketing Free Ad.
Okay, well then I don't know which one I should take here.
Cut that.
Who is your favorite employee?
It's probably Brenda.
Okay, and his second question. Sorry, Mac.
Who's my second favorite employee?
No.
Ryan.
His second question, I said, tough luck, Mac. He wants to know your dream foursome, but has to be only people from Regina.
Oh, man, I play that foursome every year. It's me and my dad and my 2 brothers. Once a year on Father's Day, we all get out and play, and it's always it's a lot of fun. I think sometimes my dad, being as competitive as he is, he loses sight of why we're there. Like, he is text me after a round, been like, sorry, I played bad. And I'm like, you're playing with your kids and you're 73. Like, come on, man. Like, let's change the focus of enjoying each other's company. So anyways, that's it.
2-part question here. 2 different people. One from just the cloud, we'll call it. Do you want to, you didn't mention it last podcast 4 years ago, but the Tor Hill incident, public.
Should I use any names? I won't. Yeah. Anyways, I played with this guy. So there's 3 of us in the groups, and on hole 2, he goes, he's got this sourpuss. He goes, you know what this is? And it's a Mickey. And I'm like, no, tell me. He goes, it's birdie juice. Every time I get a birdie, I get a shot. And I'm like, oh, that's great. So we get to hole 7, and I see him throw his Mickey down. It's empty. He hasn't had a birdie yet. So he's just piled. No birdies, but he gets birdie juice. The way I understand is you got to get a birdie first. So we get to the 9th hole, and luckily it was at the Tor Hill. And right at the 9th green, the skies opened up. It rained, so we went in for a rain delay. And he goes missing. And I'm like, I don't even know if he's still here. Might be, I don't know. I don't even know if we'll play again today. Anyways, it gets nicer out. They send us back out, And he shows up again, and he's been gone for over an hour, if not two. And now he looks real messed up. Like he's smoking weed now and drinking for sure. So we get to the 10th hole, and like he can barely walk. And I'm like, what is going on here? He's hitting it in puddles. He's fluffing his ball. By the 13th hole, me and the other guy in our group are a hole ahead of him, but he's still in our group.
Everyone, this is a tournament event. This is a tournament.
Yeah, it's a legit tourney. So we're literally a hole ahead of him, but he's in our group because like I'm sick of waiting for him. We get to 17. He's a lefty. He's got a dart in his mouth. He's trying to tee up the ball, and his ash is falling, and he's like laughing. Can't get the ball to stay still. And then he duffs it. So finally, like we get to 18. Nobody in this group is winning it. Just trying to get the round done. And I'm like, I cannot wait to get home. I'm babysitting this whole 9 holes with this guy. So we get to 18. He goes, and it's a super short hole, hits it right of the green in 2, chips it over into the bunker, out of the bunker, across the green, back on, doesn't rate the bunker, gets on the green. He's got like a 3-footer, misses it, goes to tap in the other one, misses again. Then he taps it in with his hand. And people are watching because it's the last hole. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I'm not even going to rat this guy out. Like, I'm just going to count his hand pat as a stroke. So we leave the green. I'm like, I'm just going to count your backhand. That's just going to be a stroke. So then we get and we're watching the rest of the groups come in. And I'm like, yeah, like that bunker's not even raked. And I look at him like, you should go rake that bunker. I'm like, he's like, I wasn't in that bunker. He was so blacked out. He forgot 10 minutes ago he was in the bunker. So he ran out and raked it. I mean, it's a Tor Hill bunker, so you're basically pushing around rocks. But like that was the worst experience watching someone be drunk. Usually I enjoy that. I can't even remember his name now. Should we say it?
No.
Okay.
Yes.
Name, but
No, I'm kidding.
Okay, carry on. Anyways,
if you don't remember it, I probably don't know.
You wouldn't know him. He's a more of a local guy.
So
actually, you might. Anyhow,
in your opinion, what's the most underrated golf course in Saskatchewan?
Oh, hey, Tori, can we add on that? Because Darren DuPont had the same question, but I want to hear the rankings of the SAS top 10 golf courses heading into 2024. So you can kind of.
That's a fucking long list.
Yeah, that's too many.
You ask him for 10 courses, we might be here till midnight.
We don't have 10 courses in the province. I honestly, since
top
our
three,
last
top three,
yeah,
top 3.
I'll give you 5. Whatever, I'll give you a few. I would say since we last did this podcast, I listened. I hadn't played White Bear before. That's not on there. I have played Waskasiu. That is 100% on there. Huh?
Is that because we lost money that day at White Bear? You and I?
No, because I don't play it. I know none of the lines. And like those green, like I just walk away mad. It's not it's
all
a
you
different
need.
course.
All you need at White Bear is a 6 iron and a putter and a 60 degree, and you can ace that course.
Shawn and I were one up after one. We're like, oh yeah, it's gonna be a good day. And then the course got tighter and tighter and tighter. But
oh yeah, I'm like, whoa, it's not this easy. Yeah, I would say like I don't have an order. I'd say Nipawin, Elk Ridge, Kenosi,
Goulet.
Goulet. I love that track. No, I don't mind it for what it is. It's an executive course. And I actually feel like I bombed the ball there. Like I feel like that par 5 I can hit an iron into. I just feel like I'm huge.
Yeah, me too.
That's why it's on your top 5. Riverside would be like easily. That's probably the number 1. And again, Lake Regina around here, I wouldn't even rate any of these courses top 5. We don't have great golf around here. It is what it is. I'm partial to the Royal and the Wascana because they're kind of home for me. I really do like them. But Yeah, and there's some I haven't played, like PA. I've only played once. Like I thought it was great, but like I want to play it. I always find like courses interesting the first time you play it, and it's a different kind of interesting the 10th time you played it. But because you've kind of started to learn some of the greens or where to hit it, and so each time is a little more enjoyable. And then, like Troy said, each time now my goal is to beat the last time I was at that course. So you have your little challenges within each course as well, not your just overall score.
It's funny. The first time I played Waskesiu, it was just a practice round. I played with, we mentioned him before, T Frank. Played a practice round before my first lob stick, and I got done, and I was just like, I don't see what all the rave is about. And by the end of the week, I was like, I never want to leave this place. Like, it just some
that's
courses wrong, and PA Cook,
yeah,
it's a lot like that. First time I played it, I was like, all right, like it's just that it's like holiday party. And now I can't wait to play at PA.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Like I was just gonna say, Waskesiu, the way I saw it the first time I played it and the way I see it now is very, very different. And the first time I played it, I wasn't like wowed and like it was nice. I was like, this is what everyone raves about. And now I'm like, man, I love it. And just the area around the pro shop and the big trees and just like the feeling around there is just it's like no other. And obviously it helps going there and winning, but so I love it up there. It's a family vacay now.
If anyone forgot, this is still rapid fire questions brought to you by Tower Cafe, the Tap House.
One more. I got to cut out here shortly.
Okay,
sorry.
Well, I have
I totally interrupted Tower Cafe.
That's all right. You just have to explain that to Pete. Reminder: Tower Cafe, Tap House, 1124 S Van Sask. Here was Shawn McNall, episode 144. Question here: ask Naller, with the changes coming with golf balls, will that now bring the water into play off the tee for him on hole 8 at Royal Regina?
Who would say that? Because it's like it's actually like 120 yards off the tee. Who is that?
Neil McDougall.
Oh yeah, he knows it. He knows it. Yeah, I might have to lay up there. Wedge 3-wood.
So after reading that, we probably should know this, I guess, but we've talked a lot of hockey lately. What do you mean changes the golf balls?
You didn't know this?
Is it?
Don't you run a golf podcast?
I just said that. I just chirped myself. So yeah.
So they're trying to roll back the distance on the golf ball. They find that everybody's starting to hit it too far.
Oh, okay. So Rory's sweet. Okay, yeah.
Some of the art for the pros, you know what? Here's my opinion on it since we're on a golf podcast. Some of the defense to it is a lot of the golfers in the world, they don't need the ball driven, like pulled back, receding how far it's going. But the guys I play with, and like you, Drew, you bomb the ball. Like hole 1 at the Royal, you're driving it. It's 340 yards.
Right.
Like you've turned that course with most guys I play with now is a pitch and putt. Like I am hitting a little further, but I'm still, man, I'm 50 yards behind you. So for me, I actually still love the idea because I feel like it will bring me closer to the guys hitting it longer. They're going to have to hit some longer clubs into greens, which I think is definitely a difference. I'd say the quality of amateurs with them going to school and the training now is way better. The technology. So like you're going in, like I would never in my wildest dreams think I could finish a tournament under par. It happens now regularly because of the technology and the distance you're gaining and the competition. So I actually think it's not the worst idea. I just feel like golf courses, you can only lengthen them so much before it just becomes ridiculous. Like, what are you playing? 8,000-9,000 yard round? Like, that's where's the land you're getting? And like, how many people can actually play that course now? The top guys in the world, that's it. Like
the thing about that is there's almost only so sorry. Why did I say so much? Only so much room, like of land, to have on a golf course.
Right.
The more land you have, the more expensive it is. Like the more expensive it is,
The less
the
golf.
more expensive green fees are going to be. And now you're asking these guys who are paying more expensive green fees to
Right.
have to, let's say they bought 12 dozen balls last year because they're like, well, I'll just load up. They have those Christmas deals from, we'll say, whatever XYZ company. Now they got to buy new balls if they're going to play competitive. So
part of
it should just be professional, in my opinion.
So that's the other thing they could do.
Oh, this is going everywhere, hey? Okay.
Huh?
This is going amateur too and everything?
Well, they say high-end amateur events.
Right.
Which would be like
here's
your
my point.
Canadian Am, US Am, Northeast Am, like all this, like the big boys.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, you're not going to play an Am event and switch to that ball for that event if you're an Am player. You're going to play all year with it because you don't want to go to an event and be like, I'm 20% less now. So the way I see it is, even if you did make it for everyone, make a ball that's called an amateur or something, or you could, like, who cares if a guy's playing older balls that fly further? Like, do I care? Not really. If it makes it more fun for them, then great. Like, I think if you could, roll it back, like Tori said, you could leave like regular guys that just like to go out and play. Let them hit whatever ball they want. Like I said, when you're out playing with your buds, how many, as a low capper, when you play with your buds and they get off the course like, yeah, it was 85 there, and you're like, it was like 105, but we gave you so much shit. Like, they don't actually shoot that because they're not counting everything, but I don't give a shit either. I want them to have fun and enjoy their time with me and on the golf course. If you think you're shooting 85, then great. Like, I just don't care. If you want to play a longer ball, like, go ahead.
And then too,
like rapid fire questions.
Well, one quick thing while we're talking about this, I think this is a good discussion. Like at your pro shop or your local golf store, no free ads, but like there's only so much shelf space.
Yeah.
You can't have, all these companies. You name the company, there's, whatever, 5 of them. You can't have like the pro division, the amateur division, long, blah, blah, blah. Like there's only so much. It's almost like a chip aisle now at the grocery store.
Yeah, but listen,
different flavors.
Here's the thing though, as a lower Am, you're going to know the ball you want and you could just order them in instead of having shelf space. And you would also have way less of the lower flying balls than the other one. So I don't think you'd be taking up a lot of space. And if we want to try this out this year, we could probably just steal some balls from the Royal Regina range and play with those because they're flighted. Oh man!
Or the Riverside range.
Or
do they have flighted balls there?
Oh yeah.
The range
you can make them do S's if you want.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Troy's got a question here. That's good to know. Thanks, Naller, and thanks, Neil, for that question because I'm gonna look into it. I saw a post today about Rory asking about the flighted or the golf ball, and the change. So, Troy, go ahead. Tori's got one more, and then I got one more, and then we're done because we're good until the next 4 years from now. So, Troy, go ahead.
No, I was trying to fill time so I didn't have to do it for 8 years.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, I just wanted to know this is a personal question. Not golf related.
Why did you call me Troy McClure? No,
keep it PG.
If there's a guy coming down the right wing, other than myself, where I know I'm
Wally.
You already answered it.
I knew it.
But what's he gonna do? What I would do? I put it in the net. What's he gonna do?
What's the answer?
He did put it in the net once,
but the other 99 times, what's he do?
Well, it's way off the glass
and back down.
I shot. I want to hear it hit the glass.
European breakout, eh?
That's why I don't warm up because guys are morons.
I just wanted to make sure that you still.
Let me get in there nice and early so you can peg me off in the head. Like, You wonder why I don't warm up and then guys get mad.
I just want all our listeners to know. And if you don't have that silver stick beside you, that's fine. Do you have it?
The bronze one or whatever? I threw it out.
Really? Okay.
What
so
stick?
Shawn McNall has like the most games played ever in adult safe hockey league as a goaltender. In Regina, correct. And if you go look at the goals against and everything, it's really good. But if you ever look at the top goal scorer against Shawn McNall, it's myself. I'm not a golfer, but man, I know where to put the puck on you. 5-hole, baby, all day long.
Are you serious?
1,000.
That's not a stat you can look up.
I looked it up and did the math myself.
You didn't.
I'm semi-retired.
Well, there you go. You just did the math yourself. Now I know what's wrong.
Been nice to know you on the ice for 20 plus years, Shawn. You're
I never played in Z3, so I was usually in like A or B.
D1's the lowest.
Oh, sorry, I thought it went to Z.
No, and A, B, I kind of had to I was getting older at that point in my career, eh?
Oh yeah. I remember one game I was smoking a dart on the ice, and the ref got mad at me. He's like, "You can't be smoking out here."
Do you know who the ref was? Because I do.
Was it you that flipped me the dart too?
Yes, because
Gettle
was laughing.
Yeah, I know. Matt Shambels. Was it Matt Shambels?
No, Brad Gettle. Gettle was reffing that game. Yeah, God, man, too many memories.
He flipped me a dart down, and I was on the ice, and I flew my mask up. I was drunk, so I started smoking, and I looked over at the ref. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Well, we're going out after." He's like, "You can't be smoking out here." It was during the game.
Hey, I remember asking this to Shawn one time, and I was like, how old was I when I first played with the TG Devils? 18, 19, 20 maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
And I just said, hey, like, we're kind of like skating on the ice and doing like the funnel, and you're not in the net. I'm like, why do you come on the ice early for warm-ups? And now I know why. I've seen the guys that we've played with high and wide off their glass.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm out there to stretch. That is it.
So for you listeners out there, and Tori's probably like, what the fuck's going on here? But there's 1A goaltender. That's Shawn McNall.
1A.
And there's 1B, Graham Lawton. That's the two goalies that I've seen played the most time.
Lawton has played a lot
there ever. And
both
good friends of the show. So
that was the Twin Arenas when you like your games at night started at 6. You could play 3 in a row. Like you get off the ice, team comes up, hey, like we need a goalie. Yeah, shit, whatever, I'll stay. Then it happens again. You get 3 games in a night, like at the co-op now. I mean, I don't even play in that league anymore because it's too late and like life has changed. But like, yeah, so I don't really play in that league anymore. It was a lot of fun though.
So you mean Tim Reed and the fellas at Real District charging $8,000 a year for the Tuesday 11:30 p.m. start times with cold water in the showers?
You know what they do have though? If you are early for warm-ups, you can go for a swim. Because they put so much fucking water on the ice. Like I'm usually out there with my twig, like squeegeeing all the water. So when I go down, I'm not absolutely drenched. Like you think you could, I don't want to get into it. I got a lot of issues with that rink. It's such an amazing facility, like such a good facility, but is not taken care of. And what you're doing is you got an asset that you're just like, I can't buy a house and not look after it. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll put it this way. Because my question wasn't to be one of your favorite moments from the Thirsty Penguin at the Twins Arena back in the days with maybe Troy.
Oh boy, there'd be a lot. Probably backing up into the fire hydrant.
I gotta go.
Before we ask that question, I'm just gonna say, like for example, when I worked at a Affinity Place with my offices with the Bruins here. When our game's over, people are cleaning the rink. They're cleaning the stands, cleaning this wherever. The washrooms every day are 10 out of 10 clean. Like the floors are clean. There's $0 owed to the facility, and there is a reason for that. Like the rink is spotless. Like I'm not saying I'd eat my dinner off the floor.
Listen though,
cleaning all the time.
The rink is clean. Like it's clean. It's the showers. It's the roof leaking. So it's clean, but it's the actual physical structure.
Yeah, but our place has showers and like it's
it's a joke, man. Like you build this great facility. Everybody uses it. It's a hub for hockey during the winter months. And it's just really sad to see tarps and all that shit up there. Anyways.
And they don't make it economical for guys that want to play hockey when they're older. Like,
yeah, you know what, to be honest, if you think about it in terms of like golf is a membership of the Royal, like $4,000. If you think about it, it's not that expensive. You're paying under $1,000 a year. I mean, I know you only get 28 games and it's shitty ice times, but I mean, it's something to do in the winter. I mean, when you're younger, you know, you don't have the money. As you get older, it should be a little easier. But yeah, I don't know. I've complained and bitched and moaned about it, that to a point where I'm like, it's not going anywhere, and I got other things to worry about, like my golf swing.
Last question. Hey, by the way, we will tag Real in this post in the podcast tomorrow. Tori, go ahead.
They'll know my address.
My last one, which is now my I guess my go-to.
Oh, WWF. I know this one. Yeah.
Favorite wrestler, favorite tag team, baby.
Oh, British Bulldogs, 100%. And I think that was Will's, wasn't it?
I can't remember whose. It's been said before though.
And I would probably say Hulk Hogan. Like, I remember WrestleMania 1 or 2. Remember when he fought Andre and they came to the ring in a mini ring when they were coming out, whatever one that was?
Number 4.
And, was it 4? And then I ended up, is it really 4?
Yes, it was.
And then is that when he slammed Andre?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Don't you remember Bobby the Brain Heenan in that?
Oh yeah. Because we had a guy, anybody with a similar name in our school, we'd like, they must be related. We had a John Heenan. We're like, yeah, he's like, that's my uncle. Like, that's not his uncle. They just lie to each other. But I absolutely love like old school wrestling because I watched it. And then I actually got to meet Hulk Hogan when I was about 8 or 10 at the Regina airport because my uncle worked there. And so like I remember meeting him. Like he's like 6'8", Shawn, isn't he?
Was he called Thunder Lips though when you met him?
No, he was Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
And man, like what a monster. That guy, like I could not believe and then we went and meet Rowdy Piper. He was like sitting in the restaurant eating, so we got to go sit with him, and he scared the shit out of me because everything he said, he was like, ha! And I'm like, get me out of here. I was so intimidated. I mean, I'm a pretty big guy, but at 8 years old, I wasn't.
You know, it's pretty cool that you got to meet those wrestlers because the only professional WWF/E wrestler I ever met was Test, and you guys probably don't even know who that is.
I do.
He passed away years ago, but yeah, Test was a big man. I met him. I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, I like how you guys said when wrestling was real because it was legit.
Still is.
Last question.
Hey, no, it's fake.
Ryan,
no, it's not. CM Punk's back now.
Hold on.
Ryan, it was good talking to you. I got to roll.
Okay.
Oh, you gotta go.
Catching up with you, buddy.
Yeah, good talking to you, Tori.
Tori out.
All I had to say, Shawn, was anything to add to Lee Fairburn?
Oh, yeah. That match that he wants is happening.
For sure.
Whatever loot. Honestly, Fairburn's taken me like this year for a lot of loot. But we're going to do that match. Me and you against him and Moops.
Can I be the golf officiator?
Yep.
Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get mic'd up and video it. So you can be a photographer.
No. He should broadcast it.
Live?
He's on the mic.
We got Shawn McNall here.
Yeah. Oh, and you got to wear your headset like that too. And like be up at the green, be like Gary McCord.
Looks like it's a left to right break.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Episode.
He's only wearing one shoe.
Episode 144, presented by.
Wait a minute. We're done.
We're done. No,
I just want to thank you for your time and what you're doing here.
Thank you.
This is awesome. Love to talk golf. I probably went on and on about a bunch of shit nobody wants to hear about, but I enjoy this. I love listening to it. Love your last two guests. Like Jeff Will and Lee was awesome. Those guys are like just down to earth. A lot of fun. They tell it how it is. It's great. So thanks for having me on. Troy, it's great seeing you. I don't see you enough, not nearly as much as we used to, but love to get around in with you and Drew.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Shawn, for joining the show. We really appreciate it since episode 5 when you guys were doing it on the Nokia 6103s. But, yeah.
And by the way, that thing was burning up. Episode 44, Next Gen Naller, presented by Roller Golf. Shawn McNall, always a pleasure, man. Take care.
Thanks, buddy.